Hello guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to another daily tips and predictions video. I hope you all had a successful day betting. I myself made quite a few winners that I've posted over on my Twitter. So if you want to do that, make sure you go and check them out. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description down below. But for now, let's get into today's tips and predictions. So the first game I want to kick off today's tips is the Southampton Wolves over in Premier League in the early kickoff. From the head-to-head stats, you can see that just a couple days ago, these two teams met and Southampton went away with a 2-0 away win. However, this time I do feel like it's going to be a little bit different. I feel like Wolves will try and get a revenge on Southampton. And so, for this game, I decided to go with, once again, over 1.5 goals. And, as you can see here in this game, there was quite a few yellow cards coming in. And it was an FA Cup game, which is quite surprising because majority of FA Cup games have been quite low on yellow cards. So for this game as well, we're going to keep it with over 0 cards for each team. And so that itself is at the odds of 1.47. However, if you also add the over 1.5 goals, that will have an odds of 2.1. I will show you all in the bet slip at the end of the video, as I always do. Now the next game in the Premier League that I want to have a look into is the Arsenal v Leeds game. And here, first thing you can notice is the fact that Leeds do have quite a few injuries, especially to the two centre back and one of the main strikers in Rodrigo. Also Hernandez and Phillips are doubtful as well, so you never know how that's going to work out. But if they do miss out, that's going to be a big loss for Leeds. When we look at the head-to-head stats as well, you can see that Arsenal have been pretty dominating in this fixture in terms of not losing a single game in the last 5 meetings. So for this game alone, I'm going to go with Arsenal double chance and over 0 cards for each team, because both teams love getting cards, and in their previous game as well, there was even a red card with 3 yellow cards for Leeds. So I feel like each team getting at least 1 yellow card and Arsenal double chance at the odds of 1.70 is a great opportunity and a really good value for your money. Now the next game I want to have a look into is the Everton v Fulham, and that's going to be the last game in the Premier League that I'm going to be looking into. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin is going to be missing for Everton due to injury, and that's going to be a big loss, which is why Everton are quite good value to win. Also, Pickford and Allen are still questionable as well. When we look at their head-to-head stats as well, you can see there's been quite a few goals flying in over the years. Also, the last 2 fixtures here, you can't really account for them because they've been quite a few years ago. But you can see from the 3 previous fixtures, there has been at least 2 goals in them, which is why for this bet, I'm going with over 1.5 goals at the odds of 1.33, which is pretty low, but I feel like it's a really good value bet because Fulham must win to get out of the relegation zone, and Everton will want to carry on their good run of form after that 5-4 win against Tottenham here and the draw against Man United. Now we're going to move over to France in Ligue 1 between the games of Monaco and Lorient. Straight away, first thing you can recognize that both teams have been on an incredible run of form. And from the head-to-head matches, you can see that Monaco have not failed to score in none of the 5 games between the 2 sides. Also, both teams do love a yellow card, which is why once again we're going to go with both teams over 0 cards and Monaco to score at least 1 goal at the odds of 1.44. This is once again a pretty safe bet, but if you combine the last 2 free safe bets, it will give you a nice odds of about 1 to 3, maybe 2.5, and that could be a really solid accumulator in itself. So yeah, I'm going to go with over 0 cards for each team and Monaco to score at least 1 goal in this game. Now we're going to move over to Bundesliga over in Germany in the game between Frankfurt and FC Köln. And the first thing, once again, you'll see the head-to-head games that there's been plenty of goals. The last game that hasn't been 2 or more goals is this game here about 4 years ago. Also, when we look at the last game, as you can see, there's been plenty of yellow cards flying in for both teams, which once again sets us perfectly for both teams over 0 cards each and over 1.5 goals in the game, and the odds for that is 1.57, which is once again it's a really good value. And I feel like all these tips so far are extremely good value and they are really likely to come in. So that's going to be the bet for this game. Now we're going to move over to Italy in the Serie A for the game between Sampdoria and Fiorentina. And the first thing we're going to look into is the head-to-head stats here. As you can see, between these teams, the last 5 games have been both teams have scored. if we look a bit further down, the last time both teams failed to score was nearly 6 years ago, which is absolutely incredible. Therefore, at the odds of 1.66, we're going to go with both teams to score. I think it's an absurd value for how likely this is to come in. You could also go with both teams to score on over 2.5, which has also come in the last 4 games. But I'm going to play a little bit safer. You know, I'm trying to stack up these wins, get this money. So we're going to go with both teams to score at the odds of 1.6 for this game. Now, for the next game in Serie A, we're going to look into the big clash, another big clash for the weekend, and that's between Inter Milan and Lazio. For this game, we're going to go with each team over 1 cards in the game at the odds of 1.61. If you have a look at the previous fixture between these teams, there's been yellow, red cards flying in for both teams, and I think it's going to be another very important game for both of these teams, especially when we look at the league table as well. It is pretty tight up top there. Lazio is trying to push into that top 4 into the Champions League spot, and Inter Milan are trying to get on top of the table, which sets this fixture up perfectly for plenty of goals and plenty of yellow and red cards in the game. So yeah, for this fixture, the pattern pretty much follows for the rest of these games. We're going to go with a cards bet. As I mentioned earlier, each team over 1 cards in the game at those of 1.61. For our last 2 tips of the day, we're going to move over to sunny Spain over in La Liga for the games between Getafe and Real Sociedad. When we look at the head-to-head stats once again, you can see that the last 4 games have had at least 3 goals in there, which sets us up nicely for a potentially a 2.5. But once again, I decide to play it safe. I go with over 1.5 goals in this game. When we look at the latest matches for Getafe and Real Sociedad, you can see they have been, for Real Sociedad at least, the 5 games have at least 2 goals in it. And for Getafe, 3 games out of 5 have had 2 goals on it and more, with 1 0-0 draw and 1 1-0 win. So yeah, for this one, we go with over 1.5 goals. It's not a bet I would bet on it just by itself as a single. Chuck in on your accumulator and boost up those odds for yourself. The final game we're going to have a look into is Villarreal v Betis, and the important thing to notice here is the amount of players that are injured for both teams. Here Villarreal, you can see that they have about 7 players injured, with 1 being a doubt, and these are first team players who usually play on the regulars, and for Real Betis you have 4 players who are also going to be missing. Now, when we look at the head-to-head stats, you can see that out of the last 5 games, 4 of them have been both teams to score games. Now, when we look also a bit further down in the history, there's been at least, out of the last 7 games, there's been 6 of them have been where both teams have scored. So you can see the pattern that I'm going for here. We're going to go with both teams to score at the odds of 1.70. I think it's a solid bet, especially with both teams having to play a bit of weaker squads due to injuries, which means there'll probably be a bit of youngster players playing, which means likely to make more mistakes and result in more goals. So yeah, both teams to score at the odds of 1.70 for this game. And now let's get into the bet slip so I can show you what it actually looks like and what odds it is. So as you can see in front of you, here is the bet slip, and the first thing I want to mention is the fact that you can only see there's only 8 bet slip selections here. I wasn't able to put in the Inter Milan v Lazio each team over 1 cards bet because for some reason Bet365 only allows 4 bet builders in a single accumulator, which is a bit annoying. So you'd have to excuse me for not having this one in there. But yeah, the odds as of right now are still 1.61, and you could also check this in instead of something else that you might prefer. But yeah, for these 8 selections, the odds is 1/48, but as I always say, as I always preach it, don't bet on this as an 8-fold. Pick out 3-4 games that you like, maybe 1 or 2 as well. There's this Southampton one is quite high value to be as a single, and go for that. Don't forget to also enter the giveaway, and the way you can do it is by simply commenting down below whatever you would like. Tell me how you got on with your bets this weekend for your chance to win a free bet. A bit later on in this week, I will draw a winner from the comment section down below. So yeah guys, that's me done for today's betting tips and predictions. I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you're new here. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps my channel grow massively and I really appreciate it. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you tomorrow for another daily tips and betting video. Bye bye.